Caio Borralho
What's up,
is
my
on
man?
my show.
How you doing?
How are you, Caio?
I'm very good. Very
You know,
good.
you have one of those names that even though I know how to say it, it's still tough to pronounce.
yeah.
Right? How do you say it?
Borralho.
Borralho.
Yeah.
Borralho.
Exactly.
It's like the L, Claudia Gadelia, the L
The
into
same
the
thing.
thing.
The same thing. Yeah. We're Brazilian. We like this kind of names. You know,
All right.
with LH.
And what a big honor. Caio just told me that this is his first podcast interview in English.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
I was
man.
excited.
Thanks for doing that for
Thank
me.
you. Thank you
Oh,
for
hold
having
on.
me.
I also check this out, Caio.
Oh, these guys know things.
We are ready for the fighting nerd.
Let's go. That was awesome.
You're kind
Thank
of
you,
like the
brother.
leader of the fighting nerds.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you guys come up with that name?
Actually, it was my coach that came up with the name because we've seen that in Brazil we were like different from the other fighters, you know?
Yeah.
Like the way we behave, the way we approach the fighting game, you know, like studying. You know, we even study where to put your head to get more power on the punch, you know, like distance control, and we keep studying all this. And then there was a day that he came to me and was like, "Oh, let's do this team." And I have two names. The first name is MMA Big Riders.
MMA
Big Riders.
Riders.
Yeah, and why is that name? Because we were always searching for the harder training. You know, like there's a good guy over there. Okay, we're gonna train with that guy. So big riders, you know, the guy that go surfing and get the big ones,
sure,
you know?
big wave rider.
So that was the first choice, and then the second was the fighting nerds. You know, like because we're a bunch of nerds that study fight all the time. We only watch fights all the time. We like anime, we like chess, we like all this. So why not? And then I think we got fighting nerds after that.
It stuck. It was a little more.
It's kind of yin yang, you know, the fighting and all the aspects of fighting, and the nerd. You know, there's kind of little bit different, so just come up with all together.
Well, in 2 words, you can say what it's about.
Yeah.
Fighting nerds.
Exactly,
That's easy.
exactly.
The fighting wave riders or the big riders, you got to explain it and whatever. And nerds is something that everyone can relate to because they all went to high school or some level of school or something like that. And I got to say, like, when I saw you guys put these glasses on Dana, I was like, this is going to be fun. You guys got a good thing going. People wear the patty wigs. Right?
Yeah,
when it's time for a the baddie fight, and it's a fun atmosphere. People are starting to wear pink hair for Sean O'Malley. Yeah. This is dollar store, put some tape on it, glasses, everybody can be a fan of the fighting nerds.
Good marketing.
Yeah,
right?
it's really good. Really
It was my coach idea, actually. He's very smart on that.
That's awesome. Caio, what's your background down in Brazil? Like, how did you get to be a fighter?
So I started judo at 6 years old. When I was 6, I was a kid full of energy, and my mom was like, I need to, you know, figure out what to do with this kid, you know. And then she heard they had a good sensei over there that was very disciplined, you know. And then she tried, and here I am. I started with 6 years old. I competed on judo my entire life until I was like 19, something around that. And then I started jiu-jitsu. And then I fell in love with the Pride tapes, you know, and UFC tapes and all this. I fell in love and was like, oh, I want to do it. And then I started Muay Thai. I kind of was letting go the judo stuff because I was putting my own money to compete, you know. So I was like, I gotta make money on it. So I started jiu-jitsu, then Muay Thai. I did my first kickboxing amateur fight, and then after that, I did my first MMA amateur fight. And I'm from a small city in Brazil, São Luís, Maranhão. It's northwest Brazil. And then after my first...
Hold on, you're from northwest Brazil?
Northwest Brazil, yeah. Maranhão.
So you're not from Sao Paulo?
No. I'm from
so you're
Maranhão.
from a small... Okay.
Yeah.
That's out in the jungle.
Yeah, exactly. Over on the top.
Yeah.
You know, it's right on the side on Fortaleza.
Okay.
You know Fortaleza?
Yeah,
so
I've been there.
Fortaleza is the city, Ceará is the state.
Sure.
And then on the side, we have Maranhão is the state. And the city is São Luís, St. Louis.
And that's where you're from?
Yeah, and that's where I'm from. And then I came to São Paulo back in 2014 to start pursuing the dream to get into the UFC. I just had one amateur fight, so I started my career almost all in São Paulo.
Okay.
And I did some fights there. And here we are.
How did you grow up? The story with a lot of Brazilian athletes and fighters in particular is that they come from the favelas, they come from nothing, very poor background, and then they kind of fight their way out. And the ones that make it to the UFC, it can be quite life-changing. How did you grow up, though?
No, I can't complain. You know, my mom always worked very hard to give me everything that I wanted. You know, she raised me very well. I wasn't hungry, or I didn't pass any of these things. You know. But it was a good life, actually. It was a good life.
Small town.
Yeah, I cannot be more thankful to my mom because of that, you know. Like, she put me into English class, you know, and good schools. And I was math and chemistry teacher before I was fighter.
No way.
Yeah. That's why fighting nerds.
I was going to say, there's more to it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You are kind of an academic.
Yeah, I was.
When did you learn to speak English?
I don't know. I started to do some English classes when I was 10, 11, 12, and then suddenly I was talking already, you know?
Yeah.
But the first time I got here in America was 2021 to do my photo shooting for Contender Series. So it was the first time that was like, okay, I can talk English, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You speak English phenomenally well.
Oh, thank you.
Like, it's really, you know, because... like even comparing you to other Brazilian fighters that I know that can speak English, it's like you're right up there. It's crazy that it just kind of started humbly as like a school subject, because I took Spanish. I can't speak Spanish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
And it served you well, because now you're on this kind of global platform, and speaking English will allow you to go further.
Yeah. I always know that there was going to be very important for me to speak English. You know, all my tattoos are in English too, because I knew when I get to the UFC, everybody would see my tattoos in English. They would understand the message behind it, you know? So, yeah.
Okay, can you show the tattoo on your arm, since it's fight or die?
Yeah, this is fight or die.
Okay, explain that one.
So, like, it's simple. Like, in life, we only have two options. Or we fight or we give up. You know, when we give up, you're almost dying for this thing inside of you, you know? And I've been through a lot of injuries and a lot of surgeries. I did like 3 surgeries on my left shoulder, and I did 2 surgeries on my left knee, and there's a bunch of other surgeries. And at this time, I only had 2 options: or fight and get better, or I give up, you know? So that's why I did this tattoo.
Yeah, wow. So like die, like a piece inside of you dies.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're going to give up in this one thing.
When you give up, a piece of you dies, always.
That's very true.
Right?
Yeah. And then the one on your neck.
Yeah, this is the free spirit tattoo.
Okay, can you show it to the camera a little bit? Free spirit. I mean, because that one, I mean, not a lot of people. I feel like you're committing to a certain lifestyle when you get your neck tattooed like that.
Exactly.
Right? Like the arm, you can work in any office with that tattoo on your arm. With this one, you kind of got to be a good fighter.
Yeah. I knew
that. Say,
only
this better
thing I
work
got
out
from
for
me
me.
is fighting.
Yeah. Like, what is this one, though? Free spirit.
So there was a time in my life that was very anxious. I have anxiety crisis, you know, like no breath or anything, because of the injuries and all this and that. And there's 2 messages behind it. And then there was a music that was the only music that when I heard, it calmed me down. And the name of the music was Free Spirit. It was a very good music from Khalid. It was a very good music. And the other thing is about, I think I'm a free spirit when I'm inside the octagon, doing what I choose to do, what I love to do. And I think people need to be more free spirit, because at these times, nowadays, we have a bunch of people in social media, and we always try to be like this guy or like the other guy or like this girl. And you're never going to be like them, you know? You need to be free spirit yourself, to be truly free with you, you know? To be okay with yourself, you know? So that's the other kind of message that I have on this one.
How old are you?
30.
Where do you think your life perspective comes from? Because the fight or die meaning behind that is very true, but a lot of times it takes maturity and a lot of life perspective to get that, and the free spirit to acknowledge that on the world of social media and comparing ourselves to what's out there on our phones as opposed to living the life we want to live takes a long time. But you seem to learn that by 30 years old. Where does that come from?
I don't know, man. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been through a lot of things in my life, you know. When I left my hometown to go to São Paulo is a big city, just like New York. It's a very big city. And I'm a guy from Northwest, from a small town, going there with one amateur fight, trying to make a living on fighting, you know. So I think all the things that have been through my life made me think this way, made me a harder person, you know, like more experienced, you know, no ego. Like I'm killing my ego every day, you know. So I think it's around that.
Yeah. What do you think the habits were as you were coming up? Like why, with just one amateur fight from a small town, did you bet on yourself?
Oh, this is something. I need to prove something to myself, you know. Because when I was young, and there was a conflict, like, oh, you and me going to brawl, let's go. I always got out. I was always afraid of it, afraid of any confrontation, you know. And I grew up with this in my mind, you know. There was episodes that was playing around with kids in the streets, and a kid came to me, oh, so now it's just you and me, let's go. You and me, in front of everyone, and I just panicked and was like, no, I'm not doing it. So imagine you grow up with this and everybody making fun of you, you know, that you have fear or this and that. Maybe this grew something really big inside of me that I need to prove something to myself. And now here I am fighting the best guys in the world, kicking some ass, you know. I'm proving to myself that I'm capable of, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm capable of getting in any conflict. I'm capable of doing what I want to do, you know. So maybe that would come from.
Do you recall a switch? Like, what was the switch that made you go from that person to the person that wanted to prove something to yourself?
Yeah. When I was like 15, 16, and I started to be more serious about my judo career, that's when I was like, oh, I want to be something in the sport, you know. At that time was judo. I wanted to be an Olympic judo. So when I didn't got it, I was like, no, I want to be something in some kind of sport.
In combat sports.
Yeah, in combat sport. Yeah. I need to be I need to prove myself that I can be in confrontation, you know, and be calm, be, you know, strategic. And so maybe that was the switch. I think 15, 16 years old. Then I started to train my ass off like crazy, 3, 4, 5 trainings a day, trying to be someone. And then I did a switch to MMA, and I was like, oh, I can be good at it, you know. So I'm just going to need to prove it to everyone and to myself personally.
What do you remember about when you're doing something really challenging that you don't know if you're going to get to the other side or not, and then you do? Like, what does that teach you? Like, what do you learn from that type of experience?
It's like, it's teach me actually before, because you always feel fear of doing something, you know, but right after the fear, you have the best feelings in the world, you know. That's what I'm always thinking about. When I go to the fight, we always fighters, we always have fear inside of us. But after the fear, the experience, after this, that's the best feelings in the world. Even if you lose, of course it sucks, but you did something that you were not supposed to do, you know. So that's what I keep thinking on my head all the time, like, okay, after that I'll be thankful. After that I will thank myself, you know. Like, I cannot run away again from something that I don't want to do, like a confrontation, you know. I'm not the guy anymore, you know. I'm not the kid anymore. So I just need to pass through it, and I know after the fear, the best feelings will come, you know.
But the fear still comes.
It still comes. You need to overcome it.
How do you explain that? Like, how do you describe what it's like to do what you do and to acknowledge that fear?
Man, it kills. It kills you inside of you, you know, like little by little, you know. But you need to overcome that, you know. You choose to do it for your life, you know. Like, I don't know if I can explain, but it's a mix of everything, you know, anxiety, fear, and you think good things and you think bad things. And that's what makes you evolve after all these are done, you know. That's what I've been thinking all the time. I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but it's around there.
Yeah, well, it's something that I will never be able to relate to, and a lot of fans won't be able to relate to, because a vast majority of us do not compete, right, in an MMA fight, right? Yeah. I might get the gi on and roll around with somebody, right? But to walk out with the world watching I always find it intriguing to try to get you to describe what it's like, you know, because it's like you can't really do it justice, I imagine, but it's interesting to just see how you choose to put it into words.
At the moment, nothing. I don't feel nothing
For your fight coming up.
No, like before, for sure. I'm
Right.
always, when I see the guy, when I see the guy's fights to study him, I gotta be shaking. You know, the first time I'm shaking, but I understand that this is my body preparing himself. You know, because we have fear in ourselves in a bad way in our mind, and it's not bad. The fear it's gonna make you more powerful. You know, more intelligent, you know, more dangerous. That's the fear on you they're gonna make it. You know, you need to survive on it, you know. So I don't just push fear away. I like to feel it. I like to feel this inside my belly, you know, all tickling, you know. I like it. I like it. But it's definitely something that you need to learn how to live with it.
Right.
You know? You need to learn how to live with it, because all the way gonna consume you a lot. So just go with the flow, you know. Just go with the flow and try to focus on the things that you have to do in this day. Like right now, I need to do this. Okay, after that, I need to do this, and be on the present, you know, because fear will eat you alive if you be thinking about it all the time, you know. So I just think about what I need to do right now. Oh, I need to do the marketing stuff. Okay, I'm doing it. Oh, now I need to cut weight. So let's cut weight. And now fighting. Let's fight, you know.
Yeah.
But at the moment that I'm walking, I don't feel anything. That's when I'm free spirit. I don't feel
When you're
anything.
walking, you don't feel any fear.
No.
Because I've heard for some fighters, it's like the fear builds up until the referee says go, and then it all melts away. In the same way that when I was a young broadcaster, you would get nervous to a certain degree, depending on what level you're at in your career, until they say action. And then once I'm on camera, there's no room for fear.
Yeah.
I might as well just do a good job.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But for you, it melts away before then.
Yeah, before that. Yeah, I go to the wings. The wings is always good for me, you know, the face off.
Yeah.
No fear at all, you know. And then I kind of start, then I put myself like, no, now I need to hydrate. You know, so there's no time for fear, you know.
Right,
but
right.
some stuff keeps coming to your mind for sure. But the moment that I sleep and then wake up in another day, there's no fear anymore. There's nothing. Actually, there's nothing.
I just got to imagine
judgment.
the day of the fight has got to be really challenging.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna fight in Sao Paulo. It's gonna be like midnight.
Yeah.
So you're gonna wake up at like, I don't know. Let's say you sleep in. You wake up at noon, right? 11 a.m. so that you can still be on point. Like. Yeah. It's a long time to wait around.
Yeah,
we all know how
sure.
tough it is to even wait around for a flight to go on vacation. You know what I mean? So for you, how are you feeling with Sao Paulo coming up, knowing what it means to you? It's not an Apex fight. It's not fighting in an arena in the U.S. Like it's where you left home for and where you've called home for the last, 10 plus years.
Yeah. I fought 5 times in the Apex already.
Yeah.
And only one fight that I got was in Abu Dhabi.
Right.
That was the big crowd. Was full of energy, crowd. I loved the vibe and everything, but everybody was cheering for the Muslim, not for me. Now, this time in Brazil, I'm so excited. Like, I have everything inside of me, like fear. I'm full of fear, like I'm fighting in front of my people with a good guy, actually. So it all comes to me, but it's special for me, because I know how Brazil fans, they embrace you, and they are there with you. They fight with you, and I just cannot wait to have this walkout with my music on, and everybody screaming my name and vai morrer. I think it will be an awesome moment, a moment that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. Of course, I have a lot of fear on me, but for sure, after this fear, the best feeling is coming, That's what I keep thinking about.
Why do you think you've resonated with so many fans? Like when I talked to Saif Saud downstairs. Yeah. I said, I'm going up to do a podcast. He said, who are you talking to? I said, Caio. And he said, I love that guy. I said, tell him I said hi. I love that guy.
Awesome.
Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Like you have, like as a prospect on the way up, you're not just another Brazilian prospect. Like you kind of broken through a little bit. Why do you think that is?
I think it's... I understood the kind of product that I am, you know, and I sell myself as this product. There's no false. I'm not a false guy, a character, you know, a false or no. I'm real. I think people feel that, you know, and people relate with the nerd thing. Everybody was a nerd someday in school. Everybody got bullied in school sometimes. So I think everybody relate to that, you know. I think to use this kind of platform the UFC is, you need to be a character, but you need to be true, you know. And I think people feel that I'm true. I'm always talking to everybody, you know. I'm always being polite to everybody. So I feel the love from everyone.
Yeah, but you're like an outward guy. Like you don't strike me as a nerd, aside from the glasses, right? I would look at you and just be like, you got a big smile. Like most nerds are introverted, maybe a little shy, maybe a little reserved, but you're the opposite. And I would imagine you've kind of just like learned to go through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's consciously.
Right,
you know?
right.
Maybe it's unconsciously I do so.
So what are the biggest nerd qualities that you have outside of MMA? Like, why are you a real nerd?
Like, I was chemistry and math teacher.
Chemistry and math teacher.
Yeah, I like animes, I like chess, you know. But I'm an MMA nerd. I think most of it. I'm an MMA nerd.
Right.
I watch almost all the fights. I study all the fights. All my possible opponents, I already studied them, you know. So I'm kind of nerd on MMA, most of it. You know, I have other things that
you're in that realm of stuff.
Yeah,
right.
but on MMA, I'm obsessed about this game, you know. I keep all that I do, all that I consume, all that I do is about MMA. It's about this life, you know. So I put myself all into it. Maybe that I'm an MMA nerd.
When did you fight on Contender Series 2021?
2021, yeah.
So, like, what has it been like to be part of this blossoming team? Because you've been around at your team for a while, right? And all of a sudden the world gets to see, oh, who's this new team? And I would imagine for you guys, just like, we're not new, right? We've been doing this for a while. Yeah. But what's it like now for you guys as a team and you specifically to see it starting to come to fruition? I would imagine like what you visualize is like, we could be the fighting nerds. We could put glasses on people. We can win a lot of fights with the best people in the world. What's it been like these last 2 years?
It's been hell of great things happening, you know. The first thing, I think we feel proud. We are proud of ourselves, you know, because we've been training for the past 10 years, hiding in our gym, back in Brazil in our gym, and nobody knew us. And sometimes people, oh, these nerds, the guy, oh, this is the nerd guys, you know. That okay, don't leave them any attention, you know. And now people started to, oh, I wanted to be like these guys. I wanted to train on the fighting nerds. That we receive tons of messages from athletes from all over Brazil going to train with us, trying to train with us, you know. And for us, it's like a proud moment. For me and my coach, Pablo, we're very proud for where we are at right now. And I think we can build a lot of things still, you know. There's a lot of things that we still need to be doing. We have a ton of good athletes there. They have like 3, 4, 5 fights only, you know. So I think it's just the beginning. When we got the first time here in Contender, we said, this is the Fighting Nerds takeover. And I think it started right now.
Yeah. I mean, well, you've already put a few guys through Contender this year and then last year. I mean, there's no denying you guys now as like a formidable group. You're a coach too? Like, are you a corner? Or are you mostly focused on?
Yeah, I'm most focused on my career. Yeah. I don't like to, mix these things, mix these things up, because, of course, sometimes I give some classes there and I talk with all the athletes. I'm a kind of leader there, and so they all came to me to talk about technique or everything. But I don't like to be confused about what my part of on the team, you know. I like to be the student. I like to be the guy they're gonna learn most of the time, not only teaching, you know. So I have my coaches and I obey everything that they say, you know, and I just want to be the guy that is gonna learn, not only teach, you know. So I don't like to mix things up. I'm athlete from that team. That's all. You know, maybe I'm a leader. Yeah, I'm a leader, but I'm an athlete. I'm not a coach, you know.
If it's so much about learning, what are some of the most recent things that you've learned that you've ingrained? Like not like MMA skills, but more like mindset skills.
Oh, there's a ton of it. Maybe
like what's a recent thing that that's kind of
the one that I learned, and that's something that make me a little bit more calm about all the things that are coming into a fight game. So it's like pressure is a privilege. You know, for me, this is the quote. You know, like because the position that you are right now, everybody wants to be in that position. So you are a privileged guy to be on this position, and this pressure that you feel is good, because it's all about how you face it. You know, if you face it pressure as a bad thing, it's gonna be a bad thing for you. It's gonna consume you. But I face it like a good thing, because for me it's a privilege to be the position that I am right now, a leader from the fighting eras, a UFC fighter. Everybody wants to be a UFC fighter. If you ask any of the kids growing up fighting, all of them want to say, "Oh, I want to be a UFC fighter." So pressure is a privilege. You know. The other thing is that after fear, that's the best feelings in the world.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's what I keep thinking of myself.
Like whatever has fear brings with it the best feelings in the world after it.
Exactly.
Right? Unless it's like, you know, as long as it doesn't go south. Like as long as you don't die from whatever you're fearful of.
For sure.
You come out on the other side of that. Yeah. And most of what we face is no acute danger like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But that is something, like whatever you're fearful of, chances are it's going to bring some pretty great feelings on the other side of it if you deal with it the right way.
Yeah, you just need to do the first step.
Yeah.
Then after that.
Outside of fighting, can you think of an example in your life where it's like something that's quote unquote fearful or something that kind of brings anxiety, but really if you face it, you get on the other side of it? I don't know, some guys are nervous to get married, right? And then it's just like, walk up there, man, say your I do's, and it's the best feeling in the world.
I just had a
Get
son.
in the cold tub. You're not going to like it, but after you come out of that cold tub, you'll be like, this is why we do it, you know?
I just had a son. He just turned 1 month.
Congratulations.
1 month. Yeah,
1 month.
1 month old.
I didn't know he was that new.
He just turned 1 month old.
So that'll bring some fear.
Yeah, exactly.
Want everything to go right.
Every time that I was
out
thinking,
of your hands.
Every time I was thinking about the labor, because my wife she wanted normal.
Sure.
Normal.
Yeah.
So every time I think about it, I was like, man, I don't want to be there. You know, like come on, take me out of there. You know, it was full of fear. But then it came to my mind, after the fear, I'm gonna see him. You know, that would be the best feeling in the world. So I thought that I wasn't going to see anything, but in the moment I was like that recording, he was coming out. I was like, oh, he's coming. Let's go. So, you know, at the time was the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
But before that, I was so anxious, full of fear. I didn't know how I was going to react, because people say that some daddies faint at the time the newborn is coming, you know. So it's a great experience. You know, it's a great experience to have a son, you know, and it's an adventure, and I'm ready to go into this adventure and start learning with him, you know, and live a lot of things together. You know?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have 2 sons.
2 sons.
One
Congrats,
that's 8
bro.
and one that's 1.
Oh,
so I kind of know that it's been a while, obviously, but that I can jive with you on the fear. It's a lot of anxiety. It's out of your hands completely.
Yeah.
And it's the best feeling on the world of the other side. What an example. I'm glad you just got to experience that, you know?
Thank you so much. That's when I put all my faith on God, you know, because he controls everything. I have no power to do anything. Like, I can do whatever I can to protect my child, but I won't be able to protect him 100%.
Yeah.
That's when I put my faith on God.
Yeah.
That's when I'm calm down, you know.
What UFC fighter or fighters do you think you've drawn from as an MMA nerd, as you say? Which fighter do you look at and you just go, that person really does this well?
George St. Pierre.
GSP, huh?
Yeah.
That's the one, pretty clear.
Yeah.
You came up with that answer pretty quick.
Yeah, he was the fighting nerd. He was the fighting nerd. You know?
The original fighting nerd.
He was the original fighting nerd. You know, I learned a lot from this guy. watching his fights, you know, how he approached the fighting game, how he trained and everything, you know. So I think the guy that I'm most seeing was him, GSP and Conor.
Conor too.
Yeah.
Can you explain Conor? I don't disagree with you on his rise to prominence. Do you still think that?
Like right now?
Yeah.
If he's gonna still.
Like, do you still like hold him in admiration for the way that he's been
It was
fighting
more
or whatever,
about technique. Yeah,
technique,
before. Yeah,
striking
I was orthodox,
right?
and then I changed to softball watching him.
Because Conor.
Yeah, because Conor. Yeah.
Wow.
I try, and then I was like, man, I need to be softball.
Yeah.
I need to train softball. So I started training only softball for like years and years, and now I'm more softball than orthodox.
Really?
You know? Yeah, because of him.
Do you like power in your front hand, or have you learned to have more power in your backhand?
I use both. Very good. Yeah,
right.
I use both because when you're left-handed, you need to use your jab a lot. So then you can use your left hand properly, you know? Because people that change to be, or they are southpaw, they only throw the left hand. They don't set up, you know? So I need to set up with my front hand, my right hand to bend, to then my left hand be mortal,
right?
You know?
Right.
Like that's...
So you're coming at it as a former orthodox. Your right hand is not a problem. You got that power and activity. Because you're used to that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you learn to back it up.
Exactly. You see, my last opponent, the Michal Alexeichuk, he's a southpaw. Bomb in his hand.
Yeah.
But he doesn't use his front hand. So if you see the fight, all the time that he threw the left hand, I saw everything because he believed on his left hand. But when you're southpaw, you need to have a good right hand to set up things, you know? So
you are a nerd.
Yeah.
No, that's very well explained. I mean, when you could sit in a chair and let me unravel a new, skill set of the game.
Yeah.
You're doing your homework.
Thank you.
Yeah. So like a lot of fighters will, and rightly so, be kind of saying the same things. I want to be the best. I want to be a UFC champion. I want to be known as the greatest of all time or one of the greatest of all time. What mission are you on? How do you explain the mission that you're on?
No, for sure, I want to be a world champion. That's for sure. That's the main goal when I started MMA is to be a world champion. When I was in judo, my goal was to be an Olympic champ. That's all I need. I want to be the best for sure. But I was thinking about these days and like, I don't want to be like the greatest pound for pound king, you know, the greatest of all time and this and that. Like, I just want to be remembered as one of the most cerebral fighters in the game.
Cerebral fighters
in the game, you know? One of the smartest fighters they step into the octagon, just like St. Pierre. If I'm remembered just like him, I'm happy with it, you know? I don't want to be fighting until like almost 40 or something like that. I think 35 is a good time to just let go, stay more with my family, with my business and all this and that, you know? So maybe 5 more years of career and I'm okay with it. You know?
Right. But to be known as a smart fighter.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah, not like a feared fighter in terms of the biggest, baddest dude, whatever.
Yeah,
like when you fight Caio, you're in for a chess match.
Yeah.
He's going to be, in the advantage of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm always one step ahead. You know, I always know what you're gonna do. I study you a lot. I know all your patterns. You know, I know all the things that you do. I know what you do after I scramble, what you do most after scramble. I know everything about you. You know, and it's gonna be hard to fight me because I know you more than you know me. You know, that's how I want to be remembered. Not a guy that was the strongest or this or that. Because when you have a strong guy, always comes a stronger one, and everybody's beatable, you know. But like right here, it's kind of hard to be beaten, you know.
Yeah.
So you need to be studying a lot to beat me on this game. You know?
I remember some great ice hockey teams they'll want to be known as tough to play against, and I always admire that as like a goal. You know what I mean? Like
it's never gonna be
acknowledging
easy.
that it's not always about the result, but like when you play us, you're in for a tough night.
Awesome.
And like if you're a fighter, tough to fight against, right? Like I'm gonna know you. Like I'm gonna be researched.
Yeah.
in addition to all my physical tools.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's an admirable
Thank you.
way to go about your business. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I think about.
Yeah.
The most cerebral fight in the game. You know, cerebral fight in the game. Yeah.
How long have you been in the States? Like a week and a half or something? You've been here for like
I think 2 weeks already.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Have you stayed? Do you come to train in different places for several weeks at a time?
Yeah.
Like where else do you go?
I came.
Or is it mostly here?
Yeah, mostly here.
Yeah.
I was in Sweden training with Hamza Chimay
No way.
last year.
Can I have a Hamza Chimay story for my podcast?
Yeah.
Do you have any?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
Like I guess when you get on the training mat, he probably becomes a lot more mortal than a lot of fans think.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And you're used to it. It's your weight class, right? You're not.
Yeah, and he's a nerd too. Because when the time that
Hamza Chimaev is a nerd.
Yeah, the time that I got into a fighting nerds actually, because the time that I got into this gym and I was introducing to him, I was just a contender guy that for one time in UFC, and the guy came to me and Kansas came to me. I know you. I watch all your fights on Contender and this and that. I was like, oh, this guy maybe is a nerd, you know, a fighting nerd. He watched a lot of fights.
Yeah.
You know, but he's a very cool guy. Very nice guy. He asked me to train with him again to this fight against Paulo.
Oh, yeah?
But I had my fight coming up,
right.
so I need to be thinking on myself this time.
Yeah.
But Hamza is a very good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been there. I've been training with Paulo Costa too. Before I come to the Contender, I spent like 2 weeks in Paulo Costa's camp. So I trained with him. I came to Extreme Couture like 3 or 4 times already to train around him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been here for like 2 weeks already.
Right. Yeah. A couple weeks.
Yeah.
So now, like what I'm hearing, so you've trained with Hamza Chimaev.
Yeah.
You trained with Paulo Costa. Whoever wins that fight might fight for the title next. You trained with Shan Strickland here at Extreme Couture. What have you noticed going with all the top 5 guys in your weight class? Like, what does that do for you?
It's more something about myself, you know? Like, it's more like, because we keep doubting about ourselves all the time. Like, am I this? Am I that? And when I go there and train with these guys, you know, toe to toes, I'm like, okay, I can do it. I can really do it. I'm good at it, you know?
Yeah.
I can really do it. I need to do adjustments here and there, but I can really do it. And it's good to have these guys from this caliber to train with you, you know? Like, you feel more prepared, you feel more ready to go, you know? I'm fighting the same guy that Shan beat. You know, I'm fighting Abuz right now. So the same guy that Shan beat, Shan is a very great friend of mine, so I'll be talking with him, you know, getting all the information that a nerd needs.
Yeah.
You know? So that's it.
Yeah, there you go, man. I like to pass on advice to whoever's listening, Caio. Maybe they're not a fighter, but like, what's a piece of life advice that you like to leave people with, or like a message that you like hope more people can live by?
Just don't give up, man. That's all. Don't give up. Whatever you want to do in your life, just don't give up. Maybe what you want is right there close to you. If you give up, you're never gonna know. If you go through it, if you fight and go into it, you're gonna discover some things. You're gonna discover some good things, you know. So just don't give up. I'm a guy that didn't give up in the injuries, didn't give up being away from my family, didn't give up on anything. I don't give up. I'm not a giving up guy, you know. So just don't give up. Believe in yourself and work hard. Work hard. And learn through the way. You need to learn. It's not just about working hard. Oh, I lost, I need to work harder. No, you need to work smarter. You need to take all these lessons that you gotta take to advance, you know? So be smart and don't give up, man. That's all.
Yeah. Sometimes the most often said things are for a reason, right?
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
Exactly.
Keep doing it.
Just do it. You're never gonna understand why, you know? Like, you maybe understand after. But if you already understand before the things happens, you understand why, what's the funny part? You know? You already know everything. What's the funny?
Yeah.
What's the funny thing?
Yeah.
You know? Just go, bro.
Well, I'm honored to be the owner of these glasses.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And it's been great to chat with you. What's your son's name? What's your son?
Liam.
Liam.
Liam Borralho.
Liam Borralho.
Yeah.
Congratulations on
you.
your little baby
Thank
boy.
you, Brandon.
And what I'm excited about is I'll be in Sao Paulo.
Awesome.
And I'll call your fight, man.
Awesome.
Co-main event.
Yeah.
And I love Sao Paulo. It's a great city.
Yeah, it's a great city.
I mean, I've been to Brazil a handful of times, but Sao Paulo is my favorite.
Yeah.
You know,
I love Sao Paulo too.
Yeah.
I came from a city, São Luís, is beach. You know, it's coast.
Yeah.
You know, and people might think, oh, you came from a coast city and you go to São Paulo, big city, no beach, you know, anything.
Yeah.
I love São Paulo.
Yeah.
I love the city. It's a working hard class city, you know. That's the city that gave me everything that I have right now. I just bought my house, and now I have my son. My wife is from there. So I'm thankful for São Paulo. I love the city.
Well, I'll see you down there in a few weeks.
See you, my
Caio
brother.
Borralho on Fitz Nation. Thanks for coming by, man.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.